Hello, welcome to a new episode of Mostly Engineering and another part in our Enigma build series. So, welcome back to the Enigma build project, and it's finally time to finish our reflector. And the only thing left to do here is manufacturing the sleeve. And mechanically speaking, that's a very straightforward part. Basically just a piece of tubing, cut a length, and then cut 4 threaded holes into it so that we can mount it to the body itself. The only complication comes when we look at the pictures over here. We see this B, and this letter is engraved into the metal, marking which kind of reflector it is, in our case reflector B, and also it marks the top position or the A pin of our reflector. So we have to get this letter into the metal somehow. And time appropriate, we would have two options. First of all, etching it in or engraving it in. And truth be told, I'm not a big fan of etching. First of all, handling corrosive liquids, and not my favorite thing to do. And second of all, to etch it, we would put a mask on it and then put the acid on it, and it starts either way where the metal is exposed. And this method works very nice if you just want to etch the surface. But as you can see on the pictures, we have to etch relatively deep into it. And there, after the acid starts eating into the metal, it also starts eating at the sidewalls. And therefore, as deeper we etch, as more funny looking, fuzzy looking our edges become. And lastly, as we look at the pictures, it looks engraved to me. So engraving is the way to go. Now, the only problem with engraving is that we have to engrave on a curved surface. So our normal CNC setup won't cut it. And I, for quite a while, thought about maybe building a jack to put it in our CNC, or 3D print a jig that mounts into the threaded hole so that I can engrave it by hand, something like this, and nothing really satisfactory. So I thought, like, maybe I ask my colleagues, maybe we have a pantograph or something lying around in the workshop. And lo and behold, Nico just said, why don't you use a small CNC that has a 4th axis? Now, I never saw the CNC running in the 6 years I'm there. And the reason is that this machine, it needs a little bit of love. It's like, it needs cleaning, it needs alignment. The water cooling for the spindle has to be repaired. And of course, we have to install the 4th axis. But this is all done now. So let's go over to the CNC and look at our setup. So, and here we have the setup for engraving our B. And yes, surprisingly, we had a CNC with a 4th axis, but I'm not going to use the 4th axis over here because generating the toolpath in Fusion, I couldn't figure it out. So I'm just using it for work holding and do this whole engraving as a 2D operation. And yeah, technically it's not correct, but the difference on this tiny surface is just 1/10 of a millimeter from being completely flat. So I'm just going to live with it. So, and here we have the engraving on the finished sleeve. And I have to say, it looks really, really nice. And I don't think you see the difference between machining it flat and wrapping the toolpath around the radius. After all, it's 1/10 of a millimeter on this area. And if I'm really thinking about it, I think on the original machine, they used the exact same shortcut. It just would make sense. So came out really, really nice, and I'm sorry that the footage was a little bit out of focus, but it was over so quickly that I couldn't correct it, and it worked perfectly on the first try. really nice from a production standpoint, but from a narrative standpoint for a YouTube video, I guess a little bit boring. So this looks really nice. I have to admit that it's maybe a little bit too big, so in the next iteration I will make it smaller, but in order to do it I would need final milling bits, and I don't have them at the moment. And also the typo isn't 100% correct, so you see the uppercase of the B is a little bit smaller than the lower one, and originally they are equal in size. But as we say in the industry, if you see this, you didn't get the movie. So for now, this is more than good enough. And all we have to do now is give it some color and then mount it on the reflector drum. So, and here we have the finished reflector drum. Looks really, really nice. I'm really happy with the result. Maybe needs a little bit more weathering, but this is for a later time. And here it's side by side with the first rotor. The other rotors are in full production on the moment, as you can see here, and they should be finished within the next weeks. And then we can start with the rest of the machine. So pretty exciting stuff lies ahead of us. And with this, it's time to end the show. So if you have questions, comments, as always, let them down below, and I try to answer them as quickly and correctly as possible. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. Just a click for you, but it helps the channel a lot, and you stay informed when the next video is up. And all that's left to say now is thanks for watching, and see you at the next time. Bye bye.